Hi, lunatics. I hope that you are all making the most of this eclipse season, 2019-2020. And I do hope that these messages will connect you with the insight that you need surrounding and following this Cancer full moon. It is a lunar eclipse tomorrow at this Cancer full moon, of course. And we are going to go through each of the zodiac signs in this session. We've got the Hermit card out. First card out, we'll take this as a message for the collective as we get started. The Star card here is on the bottom of the deck. So we've got potentially Virgo and Aquarian energy coming through here, highlighting, really highlighting Mercury, Virgo's ruling planet, and Uranus, Aquarius's ruling planet at this time. So while the moon is, of course, in Cancer at this point, Venus is in Aquarius. And Uranus is still in Taurus, of course, we know that. Mercury is actually in Capricorn with Jupiter and Saturn and the Sun, of course, and Pluto right now. Yeah. So that makes sense. That makes sense that these two, that those two planetary energies would be highlighted for us. I think we're talking about a lot of us needing to retreat at this time. Needing to retreat in order to regenerate. Yeah, wow. The star card coming through again. A lot of us feeling very emotional around this time, thinking a lot about home, wanting to be at home. Maybe some having some nostalgia for home. We've got, it's a Cancer full moon, right? And yeah, there's this need to retreat in order to regenerate. The Queen of Fire wanted to come through twice now. And the Three of Cups reversed comes through for us as well. Six of Air here on the bottom of the deck. So in general, there is this sense that we are able to take this time to ourselves and recharge, regenerate. We're headed toward a calmer mental and emotional state. But as a collective, many of us, and the collective energy needs to outgrow, overcome some ego drama and escape some toxic energy here, some unhealthy attachments, habits, patterns, relationships, perhaps specifically for some. In order to follow our passions, in order to honor the time and the space we need to recharge and regenerate, to heal ourselves. We're embarking on really, actually, I think completing, coming to a completion with a lengthy journey or a lengthy healing, I'm sorry. A healing that has been a very long journey, really, for a lot of us. It looks like this 3 of water in reverse may be a caution for the collective to not overindulge in drinking or any other type of toxin around this full moon, around and following this full moon. Again, this first part here, these first few cards are for the collective as a whole. And then I think tomorrow, on the actual day of this full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer, I will do a lengthier reading for the collective. But that's what I'm seeing so far for us. This need to be at home to complete or begin to reach a completion with a healing that has been ongoing for some time is really coming through. Some of you may not even realize that that's what your need and extra love of elevation of home and being home at this time is connected to, but it definitely is connected to this lengthy healing. And I see that a lot of you are very interested in socializing still, but seeing that you need to remove yourself from a group for a certain reason. Is it because of a specific toxin, a specific person, just a specific time period that you need to complete this healing? It's been coming for a long time. You've been waiting for a long time on this. I see 9s, multiple 9s. We're talking about needing self-care. We're talking about having waited on this for a long time. And wanting to be at home in order to do so. Create this feeling, this space, this environment of home. Knowing you need to sit a celebration out perhaps in order to do so. Someone here maybe very disappointed at that, and it might be you, but someone in this situation may be very disappointed because of this. Someone, for some of you, where I see the disappointment is that is what you are healing from. And you're stuck in that energy. You're still looking at some wound. You're just inspecting it, and that you're much too powerful of an individual, much too vibrant of a being and an energy to be wasted on that inspection of your past. But you also know that the most efficient way to deal with that is to go within, find out what you need to learn about that, what you're trying to tell yourself about it, how you can accept it and move forward. So a lot of you are in that space, and you are efficiently dealing with this roadblock that you've set up for yourself. Essentially, you know that it's ego drama. You're freeing yourself of this, but you need time to do it. A lot of us, or if we're not in that space yet, we may find that that's what we're headed toward anyway. So we will leave the message for the collective there and move forward to the individual signs. I think we will start with Cancer, since it is the Cancer full moon. Hey Cancers, at about 9:40. Cancers. What do Cancers need to know surrounding and following this lunar eclipse in their sign on the 10th of January 2020. Seven of water, seven of chalices on the bottom of the deck. Cancers, this is the Deviant Moon Tarot. Knight of chalices, Knight of water. It's also on the table. Of course, it's in the reverse, as you see the Three of fire here as well. Three of wands. We also have the Queen of Air, the Queen of Swords here for you, Cancers. There may be some manipulation here on the table around this time. There's certainly some confusion. There may be a lack of self-worth here with the Knight of Water in reverse. Maybe specifically due to some manipulation for some. And ultimately, we see this message that there's a need to be very honest. To be very honest with yourself about the energy that others are bringing to you. And probably the need to cut someone out because of energy that they've been bringing to you, Cancers. Or for some of you, because of energy you have been bringing to them. Again, you know, there's possible manipulation, and that could be going either direction. Or there's, or there's this lack of self-worth that means someone or something may need to be sort of dismissed from from your inner circle, from your personal bubble. The Three of Fire talks about Cancers, you waiting to see if something is going to grow. Well, how something is going to grow. Being very invested in, and perhaps for some a little anxious about how something is growing, progressing. It may be an actual literal part of you for some of you, whatever it is, even if it's a project or something of that nature, it feels like part of you. Part of you is certainly invested in that which you are hoping grows. For a lot of you, it is connected to your finances, your physical resources, your physical environment, community. If there is manipulation coming from someone else towards you, it looks like it is a mature masculine fire sign energy. Well, no. A mature masculine energy, which doesn't necessarily mean male. And someone who embodies this King of Fire's traits and qualities. Someone who is bold, someone who is passionate, maybe someone who is an entrepreneur, someone who's a very social individual, a very persuasive, charming individual, someone who seems to work like magic in a lot that they do, at least in their charisma. Bold, passionate, intense. Probably very in touch with nature, and that might mean specifically their family. So there might be, the manipulation might be connected to an individual like this. One or both of you is dealing with a lot of confusion, and this time period surrounding and following these eclipses is going to really disillusion somebody here. One or both of you have been sitting in or creating confusion. Maybe there's more than two people involved here, right? But this time period surrounding and moving forward after this lunar eclipse is going to reveal some secrets, alleviate some of that confusion. If it's you who feels that you have been manipulated, perhaps in some sense, you are just simply going to be able to see clearly. If it's the other way around, then you are either going to be honest and that manipulation, or whomever else is involved that you may have been confusing in some sense is going to suddenly then just be able to see clearly. It may be this state of silent, solemn contemplation and meditation that leads to that clear sight. It is certainly the space that one or both of you, or all of you involved, however the situation shakes out, however the specifics do, need to retreat in after this all falls out. because there are two kings on the table with the King of Earth here clarifying that Three of Fire, some of you do have two masculine energies that you're considering in some sense. So a lot of this sounds like it could be applied to a romantic situation specifically, but I'll let you apply it that way if you want to, right? It could be any type of consideration. And in which case, it looks like the king that you're anxious about how things are growing with is the one who embodies this Earth King's quality. Someone very grounded, someone who's good at managing their environment, their resources, someone who's very hardworking, very wealthy and rich in some sense, maybe all senses, many senses. They're normally good at managing their relationships, their physical affairs, their day-to-day life, their health, their routines. They often do make, you know, quite practical decisions and plans, etc. Interesting that we have the Three of Fire. Then again, beneath that Moon card reverse, there is potential Piscean energy, Taurian energy, but I would never get too hung up on the signs. Those do feel like they resonate quite a bit with you at this time, Cancerians, and that could be in your own chart and others' charts. And, you know, it might be earth signs in general, fire signs in general, but I'm more so feeling with these kings that it's more the traits and qualities that they embody rather than specific signs. And the same with this Queen of Air. You may have some air energy in your chart specifically. There may be air in the other individual's chart, especially if they're more feminine energy. And again, I'm not meaning male and female specifically necessarily when I say masculine and feminine, of course. There might be a need for a lot of you around this time, Cancerians, to get into your body, to ground yourself, to be realistic about your goals. To be very realistic about your goals. Confident about them and yet not arrogant, grateful and appreciative towards those that have held you down in many senses up to this point, created a safe space for you to embark on new projects, heal from old wounds, sort out this present confusion. For many of you, it seems that you just have many options, many roads, many choices in front of you. And you are aware almost of the fact that you're losing sight of, well, what the point was to begin with, what's important to you. You're being reminded here either that you are a creator, and that is what is slipping through the cracks, what is paramount to you that's being forgotten, or that you are a nurturer, a motherly type. I see multiple sevens. It's giving me the feeling that the divine is aiding you, that this, and the Wheel of Fortune card as well, all together saying that this is absolutely a destined time of confusion. there's a need to see if you want to push forward past this point. Some of you are creators and you've gotten too hung up in the aspect of in certain aspects of entrepreneurship, and so your expressions as a creator aren't as genuine, aren't as enticing. You just haven't been focused as much on the artistic or creative aspects of what you're doing. And this is another reason why instead of getting into your mind and anxious about what is or is not developing, it's necessary instead for you to get into your body and to ground yourself. And even I'm feeling go ahead and focus your attention to managing your physical resources if that's what you're worried about. Make sure you do have nothing to worry about, and to be grounded as well. I see success here as well. It seems that you're just needing to be patient, and patient with yourself, patient with your projects, patient with your progress, and patient with yourself. As a creator, a mother, a caregiver, a giver, a nurturer, a lover here. Some of you are almost in disbelief that this situation could be fated for you to need to move through. For some, a particular type of commitment, ritual, routine needs to come undone so another can form. And again, you can apply this romantically. I could see that as, you moving away from someone who you endured manipulation with in some way. Were led into manipulation with in some sense. I just mean that it could have been you, it could have been them. And you feel something growing, maybe a third-party situation with someone who is that more grounded character. And yeah, that just means that there's a need to cut an energy away. So it can be applied, romantically. It doesn't have to be. Either way, there's also this message and feeling that you can't actually see the way forward here, Cancerians, as far as deciding who or what to cut away, to cut out at this time in moving forward. And so you have to and do rely on the divine to aid you here, or whatever anchors you beyond the veil, whatever is worth listening to for you. You lean into and rely on that type of guidance, those types of signs, synchronicities, maybe, etc. Maybe energetic healing with the Four of Air there as well for some. In order to make it through what feels like a battle for a lot of you. It's like you do know what you're doing, but it's just driving part of you mad a little. Like you hate to cut an energy away from you. Maybe it's just part of yourself for some of you that you don't want to let go of. Or that's what it feels like anyway. And for others, I more so mean you do know what you're doing as far as creating a project. You're painting a beautiful picture. You're creating a beautiful project. It's just maddening how long it's taking, or maddening the type of hours you have to keep, what is required of you, what sacrifices perhaps are required of you, what levels of strength in some sense are required of you in order to get this done, in order to do it the way you want to see it done. And again, out of your head and into your body. This seeing and knowing, this clear sight, seeing and knowing the truth of who needs to be cut away or what needs to be cut away, how to do that, Cancers, will come to you in a space of meditation, will come to you when you ask the divine, or you ask whatever it is that anchors you beyond the veil, whatever your higher self, or whatever it is that can inform you, your conscious mind, of what your subconscious does have access to, and I would say the divine has access to, but you certainly do not if you're asking for that information right now, right? It'll be through asking for it through those types of channels, and being open and really blank, and open to receive it. That might be one reason that I've heard a couple of places that we don't want to use this new moon, or this full moon rather, to set intentions. But actually now, as I'm saying that out loud, maybe that's more so what I've kept hearing about this particular new moon that we just had. Either way, in any case, I'm sensing this you want to be receptive here, Cancer specifically. That clear knowing and clear seeing, and then clear communicating about the truth that you see here, is going to be a product of a calm, free, open, grateful mindset, not a busy mind, not a lot of clutter and chatter and chaos. Again, I do see that you know what you're creating here. You know what you're headed toward. But part of you is just having a lot of trouble with some aspect of how it has to be done at this time, what has to be done, how you have to work, or who you have to cut loose, something like that. Something that is changing you, the creator of either some project or your life in general, as you push forward in that creation of yourself or that project. And so for some of you, it's simply about cutting away some aspect of yourself, but for others, you'll come to realize that's certainly part of it as well, even if there's also someone or something else external to you that's being cut away. Honestly, it speaks of slow, painful progress, Cancerians, and what you're enduring at this time being fated, in fact. So we have talked for I think 25 minutes just about on Cancerians. That's got to be the longest one, and they must get shorter moving forward. But I really enjoyed it, Cancers, and I do hope that you'll continue to make the most of this eclipse season and 2020 in general. So with that, if you are interested in any of the decks we used, donating to the channel, or ordering a personal reading, all of that information can be found just down below. And we will go ahead and move forward to Capricorn next. I love you, Cancers. Hi, Capricorn. Let's see what messages Capricorns need to hear. Star card coming through for you again, as this did come through for the collective already. So let's see what messages you need to connect with surrounding and following this Cancer full moon in your sign, Capricorns. The moon card comes through, so we have Aquarian energy on the table. We have Piscean energy, Cancerian energy on the table. I feel like we have your energy on the table, Capricorns. Some Libra energy coming through as well. That was too many cards, though. We're going to see if we can just get one more in the bottom of the deck. If that happens to us again, though, we will just take the cards. I did see some indications of burdens coming through for you, Capricorns. A new beginning, Aries energy. So all major arcana cards, not surprising as this is your full moon. Yes, it's in Cancer, but it is the full moon of Capricorn season. Of course, your season, Capricorns. Bottom of the deck is the King of Wands. I think that one may have also come through for the collective. Maybe that was in Cancers. A lot of you Capricorns are finding a way to utilize your emotions rather than be ruled by them. You've sensed this Cancer full moon lunar eclipse energy coming for some time, again, as it is the full moon in your season, and you and Cancer have been having a lot of eclipse energy for the last year or so, right? Right, Caps? These emotions and the motions they create in you are to inform your healing moving forward, to help you to rejuvenate yourself. And so that's why I say control, to channel them, really, more so than control, to channel them rather than allow them to you know, puppeteer you, manipulate you. Although a lot of those actions that are unconsciously, actions and choices that are unconsciously coming through is a way of your subconscious, even the divine, helping your subconscious to communicate what you need and want to do next, especially on a lengthy healing journey that I see here, which is something that I saw coming through, as I said, for the collective in general, that healing journey, that need for recharge and rejuvenating one's self the way only you can do for yourself. The new beginning that springs from that, the new attention that attracts, both positive and negative. I see you being surrounded by energies that feel very familial, but may be accompanied by these other more obnoxious energies, and they might appear almost the same. Both may feel needy to you, toward you in some sense, but really more we see someone looking up to you and admiring you here, and someone more so trying to drag you down, sort of plaguing you. I can't think of the word I want, but you get the idea. There may be energies that aren't your rejuvenation may attract the attention of energies that don't support your progress, your healing, that do try to stop you from a new beginning. And there also may be some who want to collaborate with you. I think those are the supportive ones, the positive ones that you want to lean into around this time, Caps. Especially regarding a passion project, something that you feel very invested in, excited about, but maybe a little anxious about. We do have 3 threes here. There are going to be some disappointments in that passion project, in that progress, right? But I think this supportive collaboration that may be coming in can even help support you through those types of challenges. And 333 Caps may hold an additional message for you around this time. Those disappointments, it looks like, or that disappointment looks like that's the burden we were looking at, and that I was talking about, and it looks faded as well. I think it's for a lot of you, an entrepreneurial move to engage in that collaboration. Of course, you're going to need to, some of you, discern between those supportive energies and those that are actually trying to hold you back from this new beginning for you. So Caps, that's what I see coming through for you around the Cancer full moon, this lunar eclipse, and following this time as well. Thank you. If you're interested in a personal reading and donating to the channel, or finding out more about the deck that we used, the decks that we used, really, this is the Deviant Moon Tarot, and all of that information can be found in the description down below. I love you, and we will move on to Leos. Hi, Leos. Let's see what messages Fixed Fire needs surrounding and following this lunar eclipse in Cancer, the full moon that we are experiencing today. Okay. You have the Fool card, Leos. The Hermit. Possibly Aries and Virgo energy for some. Highlighted, showing up. Mercury and Mars energy highlighted, showing up. And then you have the 4 of air. 4 of Swords. And the bottom of the deck, Leos, another 4. 44 may be particularly significant to you around this time, may hold an additional message for you. This is actually the 4 of Fire, the 4 of Wands. We're talking about, of course, a comfortable, happy, peaceful, stable home. a lot of times with the Four of Fire, which makes absolute sense at this Cancer full moon and lunar eclipse. It's a new beginning for a lot of you Leos in terms of that home environment, or a community that is like a home environment, somewhere that is like a home environment for you. A new beginning that is not without complications. Not without hurdles, obstacles, right? We see you really needing to go within at this time. It's just undeniable with the Hermit and the Four of Swords both here. This is a time for solitude, for solemn contemplation and meditation, all on your own. Maybe some energy healing, but certainly you want some time and space where there's no one in your ear. There's no influence external to you helping you make certain decisions. There's something about really needing to branch out on your own. Maybe in order to stabilize a home environment, or find someone who can be a stable partner for this home environment. Not necessarily a romantic partner either, right? Or so that you can really steady yourself and be the other half of, or part of, this type of peaceful home base situation here. There's also a message here that having that type of environment is part of why you are able to retreat into meditation, take some time for yourself, focus on reflection, introspection. And again, this is about solitude, but not necessarily total isolation. You're somewhat in a period of readjustment, some of you. And so you need this time and space alone to work through that, right? But as you see, you are about to, or are in the process of, you're besting these complications, I see. And then perhaps retreating because of what that reveals about you, about your new path, suggests about the way you are headed now, the way that you deal with these first complications. And you know, it looks like you killed it. You killed something. It was something that was holding you back, dragging you down, and you let it know who was in charge. Let them know, right? What is this complication? What does this represent for you here? You see, as you start out on your journey, they're holding you back, dragging you down, an annoyance, a nuisance. And then over here in the Hermit card, you see those same complications represented here by the some type of fish, right? Biting at your legs is actually dead at your feet. And I think that's why, a big part of why you're retreating, why you're going inward, why you're wanting to reflect, Leos, is because of how you dealt with that, what that reveals about what you're going to have to do now, how you're going to have to do it, what it says about you for some of you, again, maybe that is your chosen way of dealing with certain complications. You know, I don't know your specific details. Yeah, let's try to find out a little bit more about the complications, though. And so that is, in a sense, it's somewhat like a battle for you. And you're trying to study, as I said before, I think yourself, your resources, your home life, or yourself and your resources, so that you can then study your home life, right? I see this, you know, needing to stabilize on all fronts. And so you have to also consider that this is how who you are now is dealing with these specific complications at this time in your life as you're trying to study and stabilize things. That's a lot of what you're reflecting on, and it is somewhat like a post-battle period. It doesn't look like it's a difficult battle for you to win physically. Maybe it's just emotionally and or mentally taxing for you. It may be a young Aries, Sag, or Leo that some of you are dealing with here. More likely than I always say, let's not get too hung up on the signs, and then I list those signs every time. But with the court characters, court cards really being characters in our lives often, or people a lot of times, that's especially the place where it can get confusing to try to peg down signs. And as I always say, and I want to be able to stop repeating this, is that we all have all of the zodiac energies in our chart all of the time, and they're just highlighted sometimes for unknown reasons at different times, right? So who knows who could be showing up that way. And so more so what I mean to say is, some of you, the complication could be this young, fiery, intense, passionate, spirited, enthusiastic energy. Probably youthful young man or woman, or youthful in spirit, if not actually young, right? Or that type of a message coming in, those types of messages coming in. Again, intense, passionate, fiery, but yes, enthusiastic. So those types of messages, communications coming in, or that type of an individual that could have something to do with the complication. And really, for a lot of you, winning this battle, if that is, I only say that it is like a battle because I see you in a space of healing after battle and showing gratitude for having had the space to heal in, to meditate in, to retreat into meditation within the walls of, or the community of, the support of. But if that is how you frame it, as a battle of sorts, for a lot of you, winning simply means retreating into solitude and meditation and taking some time for reflection and introspection on your own, because the clarifier on the Hermit is the Four of Air again, so it repeats itself. Also an indication, a message that you really need that time. And to me, to keep in mind, if these are people who you are saying, I can't work with you right now, I can't spend time with you right now, I can't reciprocate what you're putting out toward me right now, I can't match your energy, I simply don't have time or energy for what you want me to right now. If it's something like that and it's people that you have to shut down, turn down in a way, do keep in mind that you're putting them into the same space, the same cocoon of healing energy that you yourself are wanting to retreat into. So while you may feel, some of you, some sense of guilt or something for sort of telling them that you don't have time for them, all that you are, it seems here, all that you are really doing to them, if anything, is gifting them this opportunity to move into the same space that you are so eager to get into yourself, Leos. For one, yeah, that you leave them in that, again, same cocoon of healing energy, time where they need to rest after sort of a battle where they wanted something from you that they couldn't get, and they have to reflect on what they have to be grateful for, just as you do, and heal up to move forward. And yeah, again, I think it's simply by retreating and saying, no, I have to take care of me, I have to spend time and energy on me right now. I think that is, for most of you, that is what winning the battle looks like. That is what the space after the battle looks like, but it is also what the, for a lot of you, final strike or blow looks like. That's simply what winning is here, is that you're saying, no, I'm not giving that energy to this now, I'm keeping it for me now. And I think, and I see you winning that battle. I see you giving yourself that. And Leos, that it makes me smile, it makes me happy, it makes me feel really, really good. It's what you need, it's what you want. It is going to be as satisfying as you're hoping it's going to be. I commend you for insisting on keeping that energy and time, especially if that's what it is, for yourself. And it looks like that may mean, in some of your cases, telling multiple others to step back, to step off, to either be patient or go away. You're going to have to shake maybe multiple energies off. And for some of you, you're dealing with energies that are kinder than others. Some of them, don't necessarily mean to be dragging you down. Some of them do. So that's why everything is sort of on a spectrum there. Some of you are feeling guilty about shaking them off. Some of you really not so much. And then it may be more feeling guilty that you didn't feel guilty, right? But it's all sort of on a spectrum. And in any case, you're giving you what you need, and it looks like for a lot of you, you're offering them something that they might not recognize, they might not take advantage of, they might not realize that they need, but it's not actually you doing them a disservice, any way you slice it. So I think we will leave your lunar eclipse reading there for this Cancer full moon, Leos. And if you are interested in a personal reading, donating to the channel, or finding out more about the decks that we've been using today, just scroll down to the description box down below. You can check out more information on all of those things there. With that said, I do hope that you will continue to make the most of January 2020 and eclipse season, Leos. I love you, and we will move on to Aquarius. Hey, Aquarius. Let's see what Aquas need to hear surrounding and following the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Cancer, right? Surrounding and following. We have the 10 of fire distracting me on the table already, Aquas. A burden coming through for you. As we approach mid-January 2020. And the 9 of fire as well. It is in reverse though, Aquas. Some of you have recently decided you're simply done waiting on something or someone, right? Others have been feeling like you need to ask for help or consider accepting an offer, perhaps. There is some soulmate-like energy coming through, a soul bond type of connection, for sure, but not necessarily a soulmate that is romantic, not necessarily, right? And that offer is not necessarily romantic either that I was mentioning. I could definitely be talking about things that are more related to people, relationships, partnerships, more related to your security, Aquas, or your and or your, you know, your education, your maybe your money. But you know, the specifics will vary, of course, as always. But there is a cycle closing, a completion at hand that you have been and are building toward, and I'm you know, probably seeing that completion then finally right at this full moon, right at or thereafter, and I believe this will end up being posted just thereafter. So I'm sure the timing will shake out appropriately, as it does, as it tends to do. I do want one more card to see where you're going moving forward, Aquarian aliens. But I just keep getting so many. So this feeling that, you know, so much wants to be said. I see a 9, another 9 coming through. 9 may be particularly significant to you for some reason around this time, may hold an additional message for you if that's what you're looking for after these Cancer full moon lunar eclipse messages here, right? If you'd like something to add on, but also that to me is just, again, talking about that approach to completion, approaching completion. There's more to be said about this burden. Is it a burden because it's something you've been waiting on for a long time? Or is that just me just trying to work these messages out for us here? Or it's for some of you a burden to let something go after having waited on it for such a long time, right? You're done waiting, and it's hard to walk away, even though you never got what you're waiting for. In some instances, that's specifically for some. When we see the 10 of fire representing a completion for us, the completion of a project, the completion of some type of spiritual journey, maybe a creative project, or maybe something in the way of self-development, or, you know, developing a certain aspect of ourself, a certain aspect of our connection maybe to our environment. In any case, when we see that as what's representing the closing of some type of cycle, it not only is it burdensome, but it's usually the type of space that you have to walk through alone, on your own. It's usually the completion of some type of spiritual journey, whether you would label it that way or not. And so it is something that you need to complete all on your own, Aquas. Another fire card. The 7 of Wands. And another fire card, the Four of Wands. Interestingly enough, is on the bottom of the deck. I say that because Leos, whose reading I did just before yours, they also had this on the bottom of the deck. Aquarians, a stable, happy, comfortable, peaceful home. There may be some Leos and Aquarians dealing closely with one another. I don't know, maybe. What do you think? Quite possibly. Maybe as always, right? Fixed air and fixed fire dancing together nicely. All fire for you. It's all fire here. So I also really, in this case, really wouldn't be surprised if Leo, Sag, Aries energy is highlighted in your own chart at this time. So this completion, this burdensome ending and finish to some type of goal, project, journey that you've been moving toward here, it is heading towards leaving someone feeling this type of way, this type of defensive way, is how I see this card, the Seven of Fire. Feeling like they've survived, but they have reason to be defensive, to be a little scared. It has been scary. They're ready for more obstacles. They're ready for more challenges. Though it does seem they're finally emerging from what has been a dark and challenging path. Still, they are ready, at the ready to hide, run, fight, defend. And it does seem to me that they're aware that it's time to try to lower those defenses. But there's also still a part of them struggling against that. And they're wounded and they're healing. The wounds are open and fresh and untreated. And sorry about that. And uncared for, right? And maybe there'll be some, sort of loud shock or surprise like that. That's just completely out of the blue. And that is really going to set a person off like this. That's really going to trigger somebody like this, right? Of course, they're going to jump and defend. So you're going to keep that in mind, whether that's you or someone that you're headed toward here as you reach this completion. And somehow, Aquas, this is about creating, I think, this happy, peaceful, comfortable, stable home and or family life, maybe community specifically for you. Or something that is happening within that environment, and that is what's notable about this, that you've been waiting on someone to come around who's already part of your innermost circle, your sanctuary, your home. What, the space that feels like home to you, feels where you can be comfortable, supported in yourself. It's someone who's there, who in some way you've been waiting on something. You've been waiting on something from them, from someone who's in that space, maybe. Or for others of you, this journey is about getting into that type of space and creating that space. That seems more likely. But it can be a mix of things here. A mix of those messages. I mean, a combination too. And let's get one clarifier actually on this. Seven of Fire here. Okay. It looks like it may, I'm sorry. I do want a little something on. It looks like it may have something to do with a partnership splitting up, some manipulation, need for, lack of forgiveness. It may have been partnership within the realm of the work that you really love to do, or some type of necessary collaboration that has to do with your work, something like that. So many different cards coming through. Every time I try to just get one card for you, Aquas, it wants to be so much more. Just one clarifier on the Seven of Fire. It's just a long, complex, complicated, detailed story. The specifics, I'm sure, are different for each individual Aquarian. If you are interested in a personal reading, or donating to the channel, or in checking out more information about these decks for that matter, just scroll down to the description box down below. You can find that information there. But that said, we will focus on the Seven of Fire. Leo energy showing up now on the bottom of the clarifier deck, of course. Ace of Earth reversed. A reversal of fortune is clarifying this sort of defensive space. And perhaps it's a defensiveness that is very much required because you find yourself, or find someone who is standing up for what they believe in. Ultimately here, creating a reversal of fortune for themselves, perhaps, in doing so. Wow. So the clarifier on the Ten of Fire is the Ten of Fire. So I think for a lot of you, that's something that's just very hard for you to do, Aquarians. That seems so inconsistent with what I know about Aquarians, and I have an Aqua Moon myself. That seems so inconsistent. So there's something here, maybe because it is in your innermost circle, in your stable home and or family life, and you're afraid to rock that boat, or to upset something within those walls, right? That it may be that that is the reason why in this particular situation, in case even you Aquarians are having a very hard time standing up for what you believe in. Maybe some of you are having a hard time figuring out what that is in just some certain aspect, in some certain area of respect of your life. Again, I will say that does not seem consistent with what I know to be what I know to be true about Aquarian nature in general. But you might be Aqua Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, or any other type of Aquarian, or just be drawn to this message for any reason, honestly. Now the Four of Fire is on the bottom of the clarifier deck. So we have 44 here for you Aquarians. Leo had 44, and then they ended up with 444. Now you have 44 in your reading as well. The 8 of Air clarifies that 9 of Fire that started the reading off. let me put this music where I want it, and we'll get back into this. So what I'm going to do, Aquarians, is lay one more row for you here with the Game of Thrones tarot. I know it seemed that I was going to end your reading there, but I'm just really feeling called to inspect a little deeper. Yeah, so it does seem that it is this burden is about speaking up for your beliefs, standing up for your truth, what you believe in for yourself, through communicating it to someone. And it is probably someone that you have some sort of stability with, and it's very burdensome, it's very difficult, it's very emotional. Not only just stability as far as security in a home, but it's very emotional for you. It has already felt like quite a loss, I believe, Aquarians, to even just admit within your own self that you have to sort of give up waiting on this person, right, to seem ready to receive that truth that you have, seem like they could accept it. There's some sense here that by waiting, you were ultimately just trapping yourself, right? It wasn't really them. You just weren't allowing yourself to see the truth. And I sense that for a lot of you, that means seeing the fact that, you know, this person you can't control the way they're going to receive what you have to communicate. It only holds you back and controls you for you to be in this space of resisting, sharing, owning, walking in, communicating in some way your truth. Maybe that is what it is here, is that, you know, you've been waiting for this person to sort of come around, connect with you in some emotional sense that is missing, accept something of you that is missing. And now the truth is that, you know, that doesn't sit well with you. You can no longer, you know, hold out hope that will change. And you feel like you've lost them already because you have accepted that. You've accepted that it's not okay anymore. So there's a couple different messages. For some of you, you know, you're wanting them to accept something, some new truth about you now. And they actually may surprise you, and they might, because we see that this, when you stand up for what you believe in here, when you defend yourself, there's this reversal of fortune. So for some of you, they will, you know, they'll surprise you and they will accept that truth. But for others, as I said, you actually, you know already that they don't. You've just been waiting for them to change their mind about that. And that's the way in which you're just trapping yourself, because they either never are going to, or that doesn't matter for you because it would mean waiting way too long, wasting way too much of your life waiting for it. So yeah, so a couple different threads there coming through. I'm sure that was confusing. We also have not only 4-4, but we have 10-10 on the table. 10-10-10. So again, these could be additional messages for you if that's what you're looking for after this. Could just be particularly significant for you. Can just be talking about the fact that this does seem to be a major completion of a cycle, even though we don't see like a major arcana card representing that here. We do on the bottom of the Game of Thrones tarot, actually, though, we see the death card. It's just in the reverse, so there's so much resistance to this transformation still. Maybe arrogance on their part, a resistance just to take the next step forward on yours, but this inability to unsee and unknow these, yes, harsh, but very real truths that are just overwhelming here. And they are going to create a transformation. It's happening. It's happening. I did see 2 5s as well. The 5 of fire is below the 4 of fire. So there's this also this indication here that there's a family feud. And I can't remember what the other one was that surfaced when I was shuffling, but there was another 5 as well. But I do see, you know, a family feud within a home is likely specifically how it plays out for a lot of you, and for others it feels that way, that close, that deep, that intertwined around everything else in your life. Calls everyone's beliefs into question. Puts people at an impasse because of those beliefs, because of, has a lot to do with where you came from when you were young. So this reversal of fortune, that is how we're going to complete this very long reading, Aquas. That clarifies, you know, you standing up for yourself, defending yourself, standing up, I think, for what you believe in here. That reversal of fortune, I think, comes in the form of someone making an offer, or you finding yourself in the position to. Someone showing mercy, someone showing pity a little here, actually. But it does feel like a good thing. It may feel like charity, but it also feels like what someone deserves. It also feels like an equal give and take here. That someone truly is getting as much out of making this offer, and truly is you know, making it from a genuine, heartfelt space. And even if it is miscommunicated, even if it is received as, like I said, pity, charity, it does seem to be right on time, what someone deserves, actually representative of an equal give and take, as I said. And this person wants to give as much as the other wants to receive, and does get as much back from the exchange. Truly, 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 truly. They just perhaps don't know how to show that properly at first, right? But it is this gift. It is this gift. It does achieve this needed balance. And it seems to be a reversal of fortune that may have even been divinely inspired. Isn't everything in some way. And again, right on time keeps coming through. So I think that is where we did have the other 5. Here I see the other 5. We had that 5 of Cups, right? So then there must have been a third one that I saw. So again, a time of change, perhaps struggle in order to create change, but also completion as well. And that obviously makes sense right around and following any full moon, but especially this lunar eclipse. So I hope that you are all continuing to make the most of eclipse season of January 2020 Aquarians as we quickly approach your season. I hope the needed insight was able to reach you here, and I love you. And we will leave it at that for this full moon reading and move on to the next, which is Virgos. Hi, Virgos. These are messages you need to hear surrounding and following our lunar eclipse in Cancer today on the 10th of January 2020. Yeah, and I think they fell right out for us, and I think you actually have 4 cards. Okay, we've got the King of Cups, King of Water, and emotionally mature masculine energy. Not necessarily a male energy, but an emotionally mature masculine energy. The Strength card just behind that. Leo energy. Six of Fire, Six of Wands, of Victory. Emerging from a battle, changed but victorious. Receiving recognition, praise, much deserved, oftentimes much needed with the Six of Fire. And then the Hierophant energy shows up as well. Taurian energy. I'm not sure why I can't get that to focus. Bottom of the deck on the Deviant Moon Tarot, you do have the King of Fire. It's in the reverse though here. Hey Aries. Let's see what messages you need to hear come through here regarding the time surrounding and following this Cancer lunar eclipse. I have already shuffled and meditated with the decks, so I'm going to take these first 3 that flew out for us. That just keeps happening because I keep pausing and taking time to shuffle and meditate, so they've worked out so far. Yeah. These are your messages, Aries. Sorry. 10 of Chalices, 10 of Water. Shared emotional fulfillment is the phrase that comes to mind with this card always. You know, it's this familial energy, this group of individuals, multiple individuals feeling joyous toward one another, near one another, and seeing that type of joy and love reflected back to them in the environment around them, because that's, you know, the frequency at which they're vibrating, and they're getting back what they're outputting around them. It's a whole loving, caring, supportive, emotionally supportive group and environment, really. We have the Hierophant, the only major arcana card, some Taurian energy coming through here. sensing that Taurian energy, that Taurus, the Taurus part of your chart being very highlighted around this time, Aries. Maybe because Uranus is there, will be for quite some time, of course, has been for a while, right? But that's coming through. And then the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Earth as well. So we see energies of traditionalism here in connection with that family, that the picture of the family, an energy of a scholar, a student, someone learning, someone earning, someone planning, managing, beginning to plan for their security, maybe receiving a message about their security, sending a message about their security, learning in favor of their future security, maybe making a commitment to these things and the family simultaneously. Implementing a schedule, a routine, a ritual in favor of those things, right? In order to manage them. It's deeper than just like a commitment to a family. It feels and looks like someone holding their family, whomever they see as their family, their loved ones, that group of supporting, loving individual, supportive, loving individuals, elevating that. I see someone elevating that, almost worshiping it, the love, the connection, the support system that's created there. The, you know, in and outflow of joy that we were talking about, that's seemingly endless when you're in it. And it's like that shared emotional fulfillment, this familial group energy, love, support system here. It's as if this is really offering someone a chance to build on that, to build from that, to take from that energy, to take from that support system and go out into the world and earn a little piece of that as well for themselves, but using that loving, supportive energy that they spring from. So there's a lot of energy here, Aries, about family. 2 10s showing now. About family, security from and for one's family, commitment to one's family, what one can do for and take from that love that's created in a family-like support system. And maybe specifically for a lot of you, about preparing someone, maybe a child specifically, as I said, to go out into the world and earn more using this loving energy that they're sort of springing from. I need to pick up the clarifier deck I just lost. Okay, so I see a lot of you, Aries, being really advised to be a humble teacher here. A humble teacher here. Maybe it's for children, maybe it is for your children, or maybe we're talking about for, you know, clients, customers, something like that. I'm sorry, one more second. Okay. But for whomever you may be showing the way forward to, or yeah, just whoever you're helping to move forward, whoever is a part of that sort of familial group that we've been talking about for you. Four of Fire keeps popping up in so many of these readings. You know, it's this is a happy, comfortable, peaceful home and or family life. Normally we see in the picture two energies coming together, and this energy of stability with the parallel pillars on either side of the picture, right? And so that card, the Four of Fire, and that peaceful, happy, comfortable home and or family life idea is often associated with Cancer being associated with the fourth house, talking about home and family, right? And that shows up as a clarifier on the Ten of Cups here, and the card of emotional fulfillment and family, maybe marriage. So you know, we have really three cards that indicate family and marriage and commitment to those things right on top of each other. It's intense. It's very blatant. It's very obvious, you know. It's sickeningly sweet, Aries. It's sickeningly sweet. And we've got the lunar eclipse, you know, oh, our music. But we've got the lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse happening in Cancer, of course. So this makes sense, but Aries, you must be, it must be that I've seen more of this marriage energy for you, for this reading, your sign, than any other. I want a couple more clarifiers though, because I do get the feeling that it's sort of sickeningly sweet though. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. There might be someone here in this, in specifically for a few, there might be someone here in the situation that it's all a bit much for. But I do see indications of families coming together, partnerships being celebrated, partnerships stabilizing homes, that shared emotional fulfillment and joy that we were talking about. You feeling very comfortable in your own skin, feeling very much like yourself around this time, having made slow, steady, patient progress, perhaps, toward this picture of bliss that's coming through, that's a little overwhelming, and maybe more than just a general commitment, maybe a literal proposal here surrounding following this time of this lunar eclipse. Someone's done waiting. Someone's done waiting, someone's done fearing. And I think someone is, in fact, I believe as well, it looks like someone is ready to commit to learning something new, honing a new skill, maybe learning to be an entrepreneur of sorts, learning to take their big ideas beyond just networking and socializing, influencing and persuading others, and actually ground them by learning whatever skills, detailing whatever plans would actually need to be sorted out, right? In order to see those big ideas through. So if we're just talking about marriage and family specifically for you, Aries, then someone here is not joking, not kidding. Whereas in the past, they've had big ideas before. This is more than that. There are plans. Now, they're not as good with the plans and the grounding and securing of the details, right? As they are at the inspiration, coming up with the great idea and persuading you that it's a great idea. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, the logistics, the more mundane, real-world details, no, they're not as good at it, but they're serious this time. They're not as good at that stuff, but they are serious. They are planning. They are grounding. They are paying attention to the details. This is something that's been a long time coming. Or for some, you know, we're talking about both. We're talking about the fact that someone is committing, maybe even proposing to begin with, but committing to this family, this joy, this emotional fulfillment, home and family life, and is done waiting as far as that's concerned, but also is ready to ask for help when it comes to, you know, in addition, they're also ready to ask for or receive help when it comes to having a secure future for that family, for that home. Again, learning and planning in the ways that they need to, getting the help to do that they need to make sure that everyone in that picture feels not only loved but also provided for and secure. So it's beautiful. It's overwhelming. As I said, sickeningly sweet almost. It's almost too much. And so I have to say again, there might be someone in the environment, in the situation, the group or the pair here who feels that way about it, because that's how it feels to me, very much so. It's almost like someone is maybe thinking, is this too good to be true still, Aries? Whether that's you or someone else, we do want to keep in mind that expecting the worst can absolutely attract it to you, or at least ask yourself that question. Do you believe that that's true? I certainly do. I believe I know it to be true, but everyone has their own truth. So you want to ask yourself, do you feel that's true? And if you do, you know, are you doing yourself a disservice? I feel like for a lot of you, though, it's probably someone else in the situation who feels that way. You seem to be the energy that's beyond that at this point. I'm done. Like I said, I'm done fearing. I'm done waiting. I know what I want. I want it now. I know how to get it. I know how to secure it. I know how to love it. And so congratulations, Aries. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I hope that you continue to make the most of the rest of January 2020 and eclipse season and this lunar eclipse in Cancer energy. And if you are interested in a personal reading, donating to the channel, or finding out more about the decks that we are using, if I didn't say that to you already, just scroll down to the description box down below where you can check out more information about all of those things. And Aries, I love you, and we will move on to our next reading, which is Scorpio. Hi, Scorpio. Let's see what messages you need to hear, what messages we can find for you here. Fixed water energy regarding the Cancer full moon lunar eclipse that we're having today. That was much earlier today, in fact, on the 10th of January, 2020. What messages do lunatic Scorpios need to hear? Well, one of your cards, of course, showed up, Scorpios. And yeah, you're going to have 4. I think it was Virgo who had 4. The Death card. Major Arcana card that is very much your energy, Scorpios. Fix our lighting just a little bit. It's a little better. I see some part of you resisting transformation, Scorps. But a transformation occurring nonetheless. Some of you just feeling quite comfortable in your own skin with your Major Arcana card, a Major Arcana card of yours showing up. I think it's probably because you are doing work that you love to do, so much you don't notice the time passing. The 3 of Pentacles here is what we find on the bottom of the deck, Scorps. It's sort of blanketing the reading, telling us what it's all about, an overview, tying it together. You also have the 5 of Chalices, the 5 of Water. I'm getting lost in all the messages coming through already. Bear with me. So definitely a time of change, and I think some loss that's associated with that change. But the loss is someone who's been behaving very much like a child, whether this is an aspect of yourself or someone that you've been dealing with, whether it's someone you've been collaborating with, just an energy that needs dismissed here. It's a very positive push forward. Here's your other Major Arcana card. An Aryan energy, an Aries energy perhaps. But the Fool card, right? Ground Zero. This is the beginning. Everything is starting anew, is fresh. But yes, what was once there has to be removed, or at least very much so changed, right? And it just feels like so much for the better in this case. There are complications in this new beginning. It is not 100% smooth sailing as you move forward, maybe into a new collaboration. And for a lot of you, I do think that it's one that has to do with work you love to do very much. But for others, what is highlighted here is more so the fact that there's a necessary collaboration taking place, and you'd very much like to withdraw and be in solitude and set instead, but it is necessary. And I think that you're doing good work. You're working well together in some sense, even if personalities may be clashing. But the skills that you're learning, or the networking that you're doing, the connections that you're forming, the environments you're being introduced to, perhaps the tools, something that's happening within that collaboration, even if there are personalities clashing, even if it is simply necessary, is ultimately leading to bringing a wish to life for you, one of yours. Something you've wanted since you were young, but something that you have to make happen for yourself. And so you need to learn how to do something that this collaboration can show you how to do. Yeah. Scorpios. Don't leave behind more than you lost. Many of you, as this is finding you, you've all but made it through this transformation already. Perhaps you're actually coming out of this transformation. It's a done deal. Some part of you did resist it, but it's happening. It's happened. And now you're experiencing that feeling of mourning and grieving, where you've lost something, even if it was childish, even if it was something some part of you that was childish, or something that you tried to help to hold on to for a childish reason, someone who was behaving childish with you, something that you tried to hold on to since your childhood, maybe. You know, slightly different for everyone, but I see here, Scorpios, that you may be mourning too long. You may be mourning, when in fact, as I said, you could focus on the fact that this is actually a really positive transformation and transition for you. But you certainly don't want to leave behind more than you lost. Something about you getting so upset by what you lost or left behind here, Scorpios, may cause you to lose more. Getting too emotional, especially if you are tending to be angry about this. It could cause you to end up losing more. So don't leave behind more than you lost. I think there's a reason that I started out talking about you resisting the transformation, and then I went back and said, well, some of you have already gone through it. It's like you're two-stepping back and forth. It's like it was clear that the transformation was taking place. There was nothing that you could do about it. And now that you're so emotional, maybe angry, very upset in some way about what you have lost, now some of you are trying to go backwards. Now you're trying to move backwards instead. Now you're trying to resist the transformation all over again, but it's already come to pass, really. It's already happening. It's already happened. So it's like it's too late, and you shouldn't want to go backwards or resurrect this thing. It really is for your highest good. It really is for your best, for you to keep moving forward here. This new beginning that does have some complications, it looks like it is your truth. It is you following your truth, you wielding your truth. It holds some pearl of truth for you to discover about yourself, your life, that allows you to live, to speak, to own, be, communicate, express an honest, authentic part of yourself. And that's what you need to remember as you try to go backwards and resurrect your old life, when really the new one is here for you. That's what you need to remember, is that the catalyst for this transformation to begin with was you needing to stand up for what you believe in, what you believe is best for you, and just what you believe your truth is, Scorpios. And now it's in your best interest to share that truth, even when it is difficult, even with whom it is most difficult. Inspect that truth and put it out there. Allow others to as well. Allow it to shine, allow it to be seen. Hell, allow it to be picked apart. It's who you are. It's yours. And there's someone here that it is. It's very difficult for you to share some truth with them now. It very well may be for some of you, those individuals who would stand to hold you back. You see, he's got these fish biting at his ankles. There are these nuisances, these annoyances, these complications. Maybe people, maybe just circumstances, maybe energies that are trying purposely to hold you down and hold you back and keep you from your new beginning, or maybe just, natural conflicts with the way you're moving or where you're heading. Natural complications where there's no malice. But either way, for a lot of you, those may be the energies that need to be shaken off. And it might be really difficult for you to tell people, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going this way now. No, you're not talking to me anymore that way anymore. This is who I am now. no, I'm sorry, I'm not moving in with you. I'm not continuing this relationship. I'm not staying here. I'm not going there. I'm not living that life. I'm living this one. It may be very difficult for you to tell certain people that, and that's exactly what you're advised to do here. That's exactly what the next step is. And whereas some of you are trying to resurrect your past, go backwards, sort of undo a decision that's already been made to move forward, which is destined and divinely inspired and was always going to happen regardless. In fact, the reality of the situation is that you are so close to leveling up, to graduating, to completing this major life cycle, major life transit, this natural progression to the next stage of your life, the next chapter in the book of you. It's just that you're being offered this opportunity and you're withdrawing from it. You're looking back at what you had or what you can't have, or what it is ultimately is what someone else wants for you. What someone else wants for you, Scorpios. So quit it, stop it. Know that you are so very close, and there's going to be a major celebration associated with this leveling up and graduating into this next major life cycle of yours. It's the way forward for you. It's what you want. I can't imagine what has you moving backwards. You are I think a lot of you at a standstill because it's so hard for you to tell someone no. To tell someone you've changed your mind, changed your path. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what the way forward is for you. You know what your truth is here. You know the reason, as I said, that you started this transformation to begin with was about standing up for what you believe in. So I don't think that you're going to stop that now, but you are making it take much longer. You are, dragging your feet is an understatement. You're dragging your whole body at this point, but it's happening nonetheless, and congratulations are in order nonetheless, even though some of you are still in a place of resistance with this now. But I hope, Scorpios, that the needed insight was able to reach you here. Know that I love you, and that if you are interested in a personal reading, donating to the channel, or finding out any more information about the decks that we've been using in this session, you can just scroll down to the description box down below to find all that information and a lot more information for you as well. Make the most of the rest of January 2020 eclipse season, the lunar eclipse energy, and I look forward to doing another reading for you, Scorpios, just as soon as I can. With that, we will move on to the next, and that will be Taurus. Hey, Taurians. Let's see what messages need to come through for you regarding the time surrounding and following this full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer. What messages do fixed earth energies need to hear at this time? We are using the Deviant Moon Tarot, Taurians. If you're interested in this deck, in any of the decks that we use in these sessions, just check out the description box down below. That is also where you are going to find information on personal readings, donating to the channel, etc. So we do have Leo energy coming through here for you as well. Not the first time. It's been a few readings, actually. I've seen a lot of prominent Leo energy. Might be a part of your chart that's highlighted that you want to take a look at. There's also a decision on the table that needs to be made. 2 2s. 2 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 2 of Earth and Air, both coming through. 22, excuse me, 22 may hold an additional message for you, Taurians. It also may be talking about that decision, about a crossroads. It also could just be particularly significant to you for some some reason unbeknownst to me or us at this time. Might be a decision that has someone walking away from someone, as the 8 of chalices is there below that 2 of earth, the 8 of water there. And there's devil energy then showing up below that. Is that talking about all of the planets in Capricorn, the fact that it's Capricorn season currently, the Capricorn Cancer eclipse energy? Yes, perhaps, but also maybe a toxic attachment, connection, toxic tie, bind. Because we do see another major arcana card. Now, this was actually the first card that wanted to come out for us, Taurians, is the Strength card. So that's why I said we potentially see Leo energy highlighted, extra attention drawn to it. But we also see someone who is taming their desires, taming their desires and conditioning themselves through showing themselves unconditional love. Conditioning themselves, taming those desires because they love themselves unconditionally. They love themselves till it hurts. And we see some ego drama on the table, the 5 of fire here. This one was actually the first card out. This is center top of your reading. So I think that for a lot of you Taurians, you have been taming your desires. You have been conditioning your mind, your body, and your spirit, including your emotional body in totality, your total energy. And whether you knew the reason why or not, the time surrounding and following this Cancer full moon, this lunar eclipse, does offer you some ego drama, some competition, some criticism, maybe some family feuds, that type of energy, some warring, some fighting. Maybe it starts out as play, but then two people or more trying to best one another turn it into an actual argument. It's usually an impasse. It's normally people who have egos that just see things differently, beliefs that are from childhood that are just not going to see eye to eye or not going to line up. And so it does seem that you've been conditioning your mind, body, and spirit for this time, getting ready for this time, strengthening yourself in every way that you can, and taming your desires for things that would thwart your best efforts to do so, that would undermine your work on yourself, right? Leading up to this time where this conflict is coming. Maybe you knew it was coming. Maybe some of you have some postponed family holiday events or something, because now we're really past the holiday season for me personally, but maybe some mid-January family things, or this doesn't have to be a family feud. It could be, friend feud, a work feud, or anything, something that just feels like the energy of a family feud. So not only do you have to contend with all of that drama, but then there's a decision to be made out of the wreckage, right? Maybe it's all about this decision that's coming, or maybe it just leads to one. But on the heels of all that drama, there is this important crossroads, fork in the roads, that has to be made. And it looks like, Taurians, because you've been juggling something, these two paths, these two options, you've been sitting on this decision for a while. Is it multiple people? Paths sort of covers everything, but it's clear that you can no longer continue to juggle one of these paths, one of these options, choices, has to be left behind. You have to walk away from what is not truly meant for you here, and certainly from, I'd say, the option that is more unhealthy, that is more toxic. Be not only creative and enthusiastic and very spirited and excited about the direction you're going to move forward into, but be innovative about it, be resourceful about it in making your choice. And then below that, we see our third 2. So maybe it does have to do with a choice between people for some of you in some sense, but it's more maybe some of you think that it's about a choice between people, but I feel And in some sense, specifically for some of you, you may be right, but I feel coming through that it's more about a choice between two paths than we really see or think it is. It's definitely, that just keeps presenting itself more and more. But nonetheless, you know, one of these options has to be walked away from in order to move forward now. So let's look quickly at one clarifier here on that Two of Swords. Yeah, a lot of you Taurians are just feeling like you're not ready to make this decision, though. You know, it's coming up that there's this fork in the roads. A decision does need to be made here in the fairly near future, I would say. But for some reason, whether you know the truth of which option you want to, need to, are going to go with or not, for some reason you're just like not ready to make the choice to take the step. You know, I'm guessing being very much tied up in Taurian energy myself, I'm really guessing that it's what, quite difficult for you to walk away from something or someone who's not meant for you. That's not meant for you. Something that is an unhealthy attachment, but an attachment of yours nonetheless. It's just so Taurus of you. It's just so fixed earth of you. You just can't let it go. You just can't separate. We can't separate. It just tears us apart. And so, yeah, and you're going to find that here in the near future, when this all comes to a culmination and there's a fork in the road and it's time to decide, Taurians, you are going to find that a lot of you are going to feel like I just can't. I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready. Some of you, there's going to be a false start where you start to decide. You got this Ace of Fire here in reverse. So you kind of like start to decide. You're like, yeah, no, I can't. You're like, when it's late at night and you're all alone, you're going to have the decision made. But then in the light of day with everyone else around you and everything else to do, you change your mind again, or vice versa, right? When you're talking to someone else about it, you know exactly how it's going to go, but then you get alone with your own thoughts again and you start doubting and you start questioning, right? So yeah, some of you, it's going to be that decision. I don't mean to laugh. I'm a Taurus, and so I am not making light of it. It's just I completely understand and feel what's happening here in this spread, and I want one clarifier on our ego drama as well, the Five of Fire there for us, and then we will leave the message at that, Taurians. It's not, it's not comfortable, and I'm not making light of it, but what I think is happening is something that, I've experienced so many times before myself. You may come to the point where the decision is no longer in your hands. You're going to have this opportunity to make the decision. There's going to be a fork in the road. The decision needs to be made. It belongs to you. But if you're not ready and you don't make it, circumstances or someone else's free will, etc., may end up making that decision for you. May just take it out of your hands because you seem just a little too confused, misdirected to come up with the decisive action. I don't think that you're lacking the decisive truth of which direction you're headed, but you may be hiding it from yourself. It may be very tricky, and it's all because you're not ready to physically take the action. You're not ready to actually walk away from the path that you can't choose. And the thing is that some of you may be hearing all this thinking like, well, gee, I've really narrowed it down. I have a lot of confusing options in front of me, or a lot of paths and options in front of me, to the point where it could be completely confusing. But I've narrowed it down. Still, there remains this fork in the road, and that's not to say that I'm not proud of you for narrowing it down. Others of you, we may be seeing this because your confusion is leading you into escapism, Taurians. You just may be, I'm sorry, I have a coughing kitty on my lap right now. You just may be, no, hon. We need just a minute. But yeah, we want to be careful with that, Yeah, we want to be careful with that tendency toward escapism and to just avoid making the decision, because if you want to try to get away from your own decision here, you can and you will. If you try too hard for too long, it will be taken out of your hands. You won't have to ultimately make that decision. And for some of you, it is about having multiple suitors, and this ego drama is competition for your attention, because we see you giving to 2 people. But again, also that you've maybe narrowed the playing field down considerably. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be people. It may be represented as people to you in your life, in your physical reality and surroundings. You may see these 2 paths represented by people, but it's really more about the paths that are in front of you, that are available to you. And there are more than just those 2. And there is this message that you may want to be innovative when you look for your way forward, resourceful. Do you have to choose between 2 people, 2 specific paths? Or, you know, in deciding that you're simply not ready to choose between those 2, are you going to free yourself and open your own eyes to that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th path that is a better fit and option for you? Can you go ahead and see that now, ahead of time? It almost looks like that. It almost looks like this path is just going to sort of correct itself. That, you know, there may be a very good reason why you're feeling such a resistance to choosing between these paths. Maybe it's neither of them is necessarily for you. For some of you, you know, slightly different. For others, it's a decision you do want the right to make. You have the right to make. You want to exercise your right to make it. And you want to be careful not to lose that opportunity. Let's just go ahead and get one more clarifier. We've talked about it this long, haven't we? Let's get one more on the Strength card. I see that you're currently remaining balanced. You are managing the situation currently. You are able to juggle. Yeah. You are able to juggle, Taurians. You are able to continue considering both your options, all your choices, all your options presently. But it requires somewhat of a juggling act. It requires keeping someone's attention off of all of what's going on for some of you. But the clarifier on the Strength card is the 5 of Fire, showing again. So 5-5 shows up as well now. 55 may be particularly significant to you personally, specifically for some reason. It may hold an additional message for you if that's what you're looking for after this full moon lunar eclipse reading we have for you here. I know it's short and sweet, Taurians. But it just really emphasizes what I was already thinking and believing, which is that you've been conditioning yourself with unconditional love. You've been building your strength up, mind, body, and spirit for this situation. You're ready for this. You're ready to handle this. You're ready to make this decision, or to decide that neither path is for you and there's a third or different one that is more so your speed. You're ready to take ownership, responsibility, and advantage of your right to make that decision, to handle the drama, to handle the feud if that's what it is, the competition if that's what it is. You are prepared for it. You've been conditioning yourself just for this. Just for this. Know that. And if it is, you know, there's a message here of empathy as well. It seems you've shown great empathy for yourself as you've readied yourself for this moment in time, even if you were only doing so unconsciously, right? Even if it was just your subconscious guiding you to take those actions, to do that self-care work, right? And now you are able to share and show that empathy outward to the others involved in this situation for you, with you. And so if it is about turning one individual down in order to go with another, and that doesn't necessarily mean in a romantic sense, right? Any type of partnership or dealings, but if it is about saying no to someone, there is a way to still give them something, to still give them kindness, to do so in a very, very sweet and honorable way. Again, sharing that empathy. And that may be a large part of the reason, Taurians, that you don't want this decision taken out of your hands. If it is about letting someone down, saying no to someone or something, and you wait so long to take action on this that the decision or the dealings, the decision is taken out of your hands, then what if that person isn't let down in a nice, decent, kind way? Maybe that's really the reason that you want to exercise your right to deliver that in the sweetest, kindest, most considerate, genuine way you possibly can, right? Oh, she has to investigate. Ultimately, this is all about finding shared emotional fulfillment for you. Familial love. Maybe it's a marriage, but it's certainly a familial joy that is akin to the kind that you would ideally find in a family, in a happy family. So Taurians, I do hope that the needed insight was able to reach you here, that helps you to make this decision on the horizon, or to see why you don't have to choose one of those paths, why you certainly don't want to lose the ability to make that decision for some of you. I really do. And I want to get one more clarifier though, because as I say that to you, as I say, I hope that helped you make your decision. I know that some of you feel like, well, it certainly did not. So let's just get advice for Taurians on which direction is for their highest good here. Describe, I suppose, the direction then that is for their highest good, fixed earth energies, highest good at this time. A hint to which path is the decision in their hearts. Well, we knew that the Lover's card would be the answer to the question if we'd thought about it for just one moment, right? A lot of you need to hear and know that you are no longer earth-bound, Taurians. Are we talking about the fact that you are an earth sign, that you are fixed earth, that you are that energy that has the most trouble letting go of those attachments, those earthly attachments? Arguably. It seems we are. You are having trouble letting go, but you do not have to be bound by that definition of yourself, by any zodiac trait that you possess. It is always to teach us about ourselves, to help us to develop ourselves, never to show us areas where we simply can't develop or should stop trying. You don't have to be bound by that. That doesn't have to be the way forward, who you are. The path that is for you is the one that you truly love. The path that is for you here is the one that offers you a mirror of yourself, it seems. And I know some of you will take that to communicate something about a twin flame path, perhaps. You know, it means to you what it means to you. It is, I believe, the new path, The Lover's card, especially in the upright, is speaking about a new path presenting itself. One that offers a lengthy entanglement, a bond, an implied trust with another energy, normally intertwining with you, choosing to walk away from the path that they're on as well, just as you are choosing to walk away from the path that you are on in order for the two of you to walk a third new path together. It seems that that is the one that the guidance here would advise us towards. The one that sets you on fire. The one that feels and seems undeniably divine. The one that matches your energy and offers you an equal partnership. The one that allows you to begin writing a story in unison with someone else that is unknown yet to both of you. And so it may just be a little bit scary. So that is what I see coming through for us Taurians. I love you. And if you are interested in a personal reading or finding out more about the decks we're using, I think I already told you all of this, that it's down in the description box below. I think we did that. So with all of that being said, do make the most of the rest of January 2020 and eclipse season and the lunar eclipse energy, Taurians. And I look forward to doing another reading for us just as soon as I can. With that, we will move forward on to Sagittarius. Hey Sag. Let's see what messages you need to hear surrounding and following this Cancer full moon lunar eclipse. The Lover's card and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands just keeps coming out, Sag. I mean, it's been... This is at least the 4th or 5th reading, at least, that it's come out in so far. And there's only one more after yours, so... This is the Deviant Moon Tarot that we are using. It does seem that a lot of upheaval is coming through for you, Sag. A lot of gains are coming through for you. That is how I read this Five of Pentacles, Five of Earth energy in reverse normally. I see gains on the table. I see a partnership forming, a lengthy entanglement with that partnership, stabilizing a home, a happy, peaceful, comfortable home and or family life for you, Sag. There's a piece of advice to be very honest here with yourself, with others, about what you want, what you need, because this is a time of upheaval and change for a lot of us, transformation for a lot of us, and Sag, as soon as I started shuffling and meditating with the decks for you, it started coming through so strong, so thick, so hard. Like, especially you, and everyone, right? Especially Cancers and Capricorns, Aquarians, Taurians, everyone. But the messages that are coming through here for lunatic Sagittarians are definitely of great upheaval. To expect the unexpected and change at this time, Sag. Bottom of the deck, you have the Page of Earth, the Page of Pentacles. The Emperor card is below that. The Strength card is then below that. So we will continue to talk about these, draw clarifiers if we need to. The one clarifier that I do really want to draw here okay, so as far as this advice for you to be really honest and pragmatic, to both demand honesty, honor honesty, and also to give honesty, right? To offer honesty. I guess I should say honor honesty, both through giving it and through demanding it. So some of you, Sages, you may be acting, thinking, planning so quickly that you're a little reckless with your words. You may not mean to be dishonest, but it may be that patience, precision, a stillness and a calmness is required in order to make sure that you're being honest, right? You may not intentionally mean to lie or mean to mislead someone, but you need to consciously make a conscious effort to try to make sure that you're telling the whole truth, right? We also say nothing but the truth, but the first part is the whole truth, right? So that means it's like your responsibility to account for any details that you might overlook. And there's just an indication here that some of you might be rushing, again, thinking, planning, speaking, even acting, with that particular air card so quickly that you misspeak, you're reckless, and it's not an intention to mislead someone, but it's just misspeaking. So I'm not sure how that is connected to a partnership, and again, a lengthy entanglement that serves to stabilize this comfortable, peaceful, happy home. But I do think that that is happening around this lunar eclipse for you, Sag. And it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it is a gain. It's a notable gain in your life. It offers you a support that means you're no longer seeking support. A wealth that you have been searching for. Especially for those of you who are seeking a masculine energy, a masculine counterpart. I see a message of security coming in, and it's probably a passionate message. An intense, passionate, fiery message that is actually a message of security. Yeah, I really see that where there has been heartbreak before, there are gains instead now. Where there has been lack, there are gains instead now. Someone has something very intense and heated to say to you that is a response to a sort of disappointment that you're feeling. So maybe it is from the individual who has disappointed you, or maybe it is someone else. But I think that is absolutely coming from this individual who you have this soul bond type of energy with, that you form this stable structure and environment probably with. I think it's coming from that individual. It's sort of just like you form this bond, and then you create a home-like environment together, and then they let you know how much you just earned in forming this partnership and this environment with them by speaking on what feels broken in you. like you knew there was passion here. But what this message is about is a long-term security. It definitely feels like a message about love of some type, at least, Sag. And yeah, you just want to make sure that in return for this bond, this entanglement, this partnership, this healing that they're offering you, and the stability that they're offering you, really that you're offering each other, you just want to make sure that you come correct to this very honorable situation. Like you just want to make sure that you're able to be totally open and honest with them, that you're able to share your whole truth with them. Yeah, you just may be so excited by the notion of this bond forming that you misspeak, but you want to make sure that you're very clear with them, because this is very important. It's like this, the feeling I'm getting, the overwhelming sense that I'm getting is that it's like, for once you let someone in, you break your walls down, you're braced and ready for them to hurt you, and instead what they do is they heal these hurts that you've had from the past from other people. It's very beautiful, Sag, very beautiful. This is the first lunar eclipse reading that I've become really emotional in. It's really beautiful, and it's not the first one I've said congratulations in, but congratulations. That's awesome. And I think there's a message here to fight for what you believe can be real for you. Fight for what you believe can be real for you. Know that this is really happening. That's another reason that you might be a little reckless with your words, because some part of you is overthinking the situation. Can this be real? Yes, they are being honest, and you should be as well. This is as immaculate and divine and incredible as it seems. So enjoy. Hi, Gemini. Let's see what messages come through for mutable air regarding the time surrounding and following the Cancer full moon lunar eclipse, which we are still experiencing the energy of and will be for some time. Another 5, the 5 of chalices, 5 of water, your first card out, Gems. And we have the Knight of Fire here as well. Sagittarian energy here with you on the table. Interesting. Sagittarius just had a very interesting reading as your sister sign, Gems. And the 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Earth. Bottom of the deck, there's Aries energy, the Fool card. I wouldn't get too hung up on these signs, right? We all have all of the zodiac signs, all of the energies in our chart somewhere. That said, these are coming through in a really strong way. We do have the 8 of Air below that bottom of the deck card, below the Fool card there, and Aquarian energy in the Star card as well. So what I see immediately is that you have been in a space of speeding toward enlightenment. When you're in that type of a space, Gems, that means you are attracting like-minded individuals. You are attracting kindred spirits to yourself. So you're calling in a lot of energies who you vibe with, basically. People who can be good friends, people who can be soulmates. You've been yearning for it. You've been asking for it, even if only subconsciously, and you're calling it to you. And this full moon, this Cancer full moon, is a moment of completion in that. It is calling people towards you who feel like home to you. And calling a state of being towards you that feels like home. So your mental state, your emotional state, the people you're around, and the way that you're thinking, and the way that they're helping you think. It's all the mental, emotional, and relationship like place that you want to call home, that you feel most comfortable in. That's the type of energy you're having around you. What this means at the Cancer full moon is a little bit of loss, because in order for you to have space for all that which you are calling in, there are some things then that need to gravitate away from you, of course. So there are some energies that they just simply conflict with yours. They may be a little bit petty, and really, judging from this depiction of the Five of Cups, just a little sore, angry, overly emotional. Like the combination of you is just explosive, right? So those are the energies that are finding their way away from you in order to make room for the kindred spirits and like-minded individuals that you're calling towards you. What you're left with is an equal give and take. People who don't take energy from you that you can't afford to lose. People who care about you in such a way that they wouldn't want to take energy from you that you need for yourself, right? You know, when you really want to be around someone, spend time with someone, but you know they need that energy for resting or for working, etc. If you care about them truly, you don't want to take energy that they need in order to satisfy your own desire, right? Now, if it's simply an obsession that you have with someone, or you view someone like a tool or an object or something that is simply there for you, then you might want them to overextend themselves and to use their energy to the point where they have nothing left just in order to please you, right? I mean, hopefully not, but those are the types of individuals that I think we're gradually gravitating away from, so that we can get those energies that give us an equal give and take. They don't want more than we have to give. They give us back what we offer to them. It's a new beginning. It's a whole new start. And there are going to be complications. There are going to be energies that try to hold you back from having this new start. People who like the old version of you, that mental state that you were stuck in, that emotional state that left you available for them to use up all of your energy and your time. And it left you in a state of, it left you feeling like a victim of your circumstance, right? It left you feeling like you couldn't get away from all that was demanded of you, when really that was just their energy and they were sharing it with you. They felt like victims. They felt like they needed to take your energy. That's why you have to gravitate away from it to the best of your ability. And the fact of the matter is that energy is still going to be somewhere around you. There are going to be these sort of woe is me attitudes asking for your attention. I think that's what we see, trying to hold you back there, biting your ankles, biting your calves there. It's really up to you to decide that they're not allowed to have it anymore. And I see everything showing up in the upright, so I think that's exactly what's going to happen, gems. I think you're headed in the direction of only energies that give you that equal give and take that we're talking about. So with that, I do hope that the needed insight was able to reach you here. I love you, gems. And if you are interested in a personal reading, donating to the channel, or finding out more about any of the decks that we use, the Deviant Moon Tarot or otherwise, just check out the description box down below where you can find all of that information. And do make the most of the rest of this eclipse energy. I look forward to doing another reading for you as soon as I can.